Alright, welcome to Beers and Fears. I'm Brian.
And I'm David, and today we're here with Lee Howard, artist.
Crazy, ripping bears apart guy. Lee, how you doing, buddy?
Good, how you guys doing?
Fantastic.
Pretty good.
Right away, I'm going to jump into the first question here that was from a fan that was sent us, and I agree with this question. Plain and simple, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you killing bears? What is going on?
How much time do we have?
That's right. Is this an intervention, really, actually?
You bet.
Dude,
all
seriously.
my family and friends show up behind me.
Right?
You have a problem, son.
What was the process? What made you, what's the idea? How did this come about?
Well, it all started, actually, this is the first one I have behind me. This is the first one that I ever made.
Wow.
Oh,
cute.
So I started out making them. The first one, that one I made about 13 years ago, maybe now. And it started because my brother and his wife were having a Halloween party, and it was a themed Halloween party, and they had this little demon baby in a carriage, and the theme was Rosemary's Baby Shower.
Nice.
And they were going to do a contest of whoever brought the best gift for the baby would win a prize. So I'm every baby needs a teddy bear, right? So the son of Satan needs this. So they ended up actually not doing the contest, but I had already made the bear. So I was I'm just going to bring it anyway. And everybody crapped their pants off when they saw it, and just the reaction was so good and horrible, wonderfully horrible, that I was maybe I should make a couple more. And so I made two more that were really basic and really simple. And I didn't have the name for them or anything like that at that point. And I sold those two on eBay just as gothic, scary teddy bear, one of a kind or whatever. And they sold for nothing because I didn't know that, I was going to do a lot more with them. And then just a couple years went by. I didn't make any more. And then I don't know, one day it was just I think I want to make more of those bears. And that's when I came up with the name for Quiet Room Bears and the whole backstory behind what they are and where they come from, and started numbering them individually. And then slowly but surely they started gaining a little bit more of a following and stuff, but only really over the last 5 years have they really exploded.
Do you go into these things kind of having an idea what you want to do with the bear, or do you just kind of just see where it goes?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll actually kind of sketch out designs for what I want to do, but especially if because I've done a lot of kind of horror movie inspired ones. I did a Hellraiser series, and I've done a couple Freddy Krueger and Jason inspired ones. So I'll kind of have a design in mind for that. But otherwise, because there's so many parts and pieces and stuff that go into them, and I have drawers full of weird serial killer items and stuff. If you broke into a serial killer's house and there's a drawer with baby doll hands and fake eyes and fake teeth and stuff. Normal everyday items. But I'll just I'll pick up a bear, a normal teddy bear, and then it's I won't know ahead of time what I'm going to do, and I'll just look at it and visualize and just start seeing its head opening up and human teeth growing out of it, and it's okay, now I know what to do with this one. And so I'll just kind of spread all the pieces out on the floor and think what would make me feel sick to look at? Now I'll put that in the bear.
So do you have a contract with anybody to get these bears to you? I mean, or do you just randomly go to stores with little baby parts and go, yeah, this bear looks like it'd be good for that?
Yeah, a lot of the parts I get are from secondhand stores and stuff, a lot of the bears and the dolls and stuff like that. And it's I mean, there's some places that the people there know me, so it's I don't feel like a gigantic weirdo when I'm buying all this stuff. But it's I bought some the other day, and it had like I must look like the biggest like pedophile or something in the world, because I have like an armful of like 9 teddy bears and like a sack of like naked Barbies, and I'm like a grown man buying all this stuff. So sometimes I feel like super self-conscious, and I try and like joke my way through it. Like, I bet this looks weird, huh? It's for art though, don't worry. And it's like I start over-explaining it, and then I'm like, Jesus, like calm down. They're going to call 911, and like, let me just get in my white windowless van and where's the candy section? Kids love candy too.
That's right.
But otherwise, there's like all the other pieces. I'll buy stuff from like taxidermy websites, or just like anywhere. If I go into a store and I see something that looks gross that would work well in a bear, I'll buy it.
Oh, that's fantastic. Nice. So have you been, obviously you do more than the Quiet Room Bears from our promo with the prints. Were you doing art pre-hand with your prints and paintings and drawings before the Quiet Room Bears, or was it just something that, I've been more inspired, so I'm going to kind of branch out as well?
I've always done art. I used to draw as a kid. It was like... Sorry?
You're good.
Oh, okay. Thought I was going deaf. Yeah, I've always done art, and I always had a passion for art. And then there was actually like a period for like 5 years where I stopped making art altogether. I just it's like the well was dry. I had nothing. And then about 6 or 7 years ago, I just kind of picked it up again, and I've been I mostly just paint. Like I used to do pencil drawings and stuff, but now it's like because I'm more comfortable and I think I'm better with paint, with acrylic painting. But I just I don't know. I just got this creative drive back, yeah, it's I do more painting than bears now almost, just because the bears can take a long time to make. And then just as the paintings started getting better over time, and then I'd start getting more commissioned work. It's like almost all my free time is spent painting. Then when I can fit the bears in, and then when I can actually be social like a real human.
Right. Tell us about, real quick, one of the bears. We were kind of going through your whole line last night from your Facebook page, and a couple moments we had to cuddle a little bit every once in a while.
Yeah.
It was kind of frightening with the side teeth one, kind of screwed me a little bit, to be honest. But it was. Tell us about the one that I got really pumped about when I saw it. The Sewed Together bears for the Soska Sisters. How did that come about?
Oh man, that was awesome. Also, they are like the coolest girls ever. It was amazing. Yeah, I just that was because last spring, I think, because I'm friends with people that run Anchor Bay here, and they were doing a screening of American Mary in Toronto, and I live just about 40 minutes outside of Toronto. So they invited my brother and I to go to the meet and greet, and to meet them and stuff like that. And my brother's wife was actually like, "You should make a bear for them." So I was like, "Oh yeah. I never even would have thought of that." So I got American Mary, and I wanted to watch the movie first to kind of do a bear inspired by the movie and the twins. So it was actually cool. As I started the bear, the opening of the movie is the really close-up shots of her stitching up the chicken or the turkey or whatever. Mm-hmm. I was literally I just cut the bears in half, and then I'd latex them and stuff, and I was stitching them together right as the movie started, where they're stitching the turkey together, and I'm like, oh, it was meant to be. And I'd actually I sent a message on Twitter, a couple days beforehand, and I was just like any other weirdo fan, I'm like, I'll see you guys soon, and maybe I'll have something for you then. And then when I met them, they're like, "Hey, do we know you?" And I was like, "Well, I just messaged you," and I'm like, "I got a present for you," and I pulled it out, and they loved it. And it was everybody in the room was like, "Holy shit, what the hell is that?" But it was awesome. I really loved how that one turned out. It was my first Siamese bear, kind of. But those girls are so awesome, and like they posted a couple really awesome pictures of them with the bear, and they're the coolest.
She's like, you're the most.
If you talk to her, tell her I said hello, and then this wink.
I will.
Creepy.
Creepy wink.
Tell me about your new project that you got going on, and it might not even be new, but it's something I just come across. Not only the Quiet Room Bears, but you got something going on with some demented little like Mickey Mouse characters, and why don't you give us a little rundown on that if you could?
Yeah, that kind of key, the Playful Dead is what it's called. My brother Bill gave me the name. I was so stuck on the name, I couldn't figure it out at all. And yeah, my brother Bill came up with the name, so that's him. It's funny because I get a lot of requests for people, like, or from people on like, you should do this with the bears, or you should like turn, like an Elmo into a Quiet Room Bear. But I'm like a real like, kind of like I don't know. I'm so specific in like how I make the Quiet Room Bears that I kind of like give myself rules for like I don't want to make them cutesy. Or I don't want to put them in like little hats or have little weapons, because it's like there's things out there like that. So because I kind of have like rules for like that, and how I want to make them, I was like, maybe I can just do like a second line of toys where I can just do whatever with them, and I thought it would be cool to just like take like regular characters that everybody knows and make them like not necessarily like just like zombie versions, but like just horribly scary versions with the same process as the Quiet Room Bears, and then just use it on those. Nice. So I only have 4 made so far, and it's like even like the page for that one only has like a few hundred views or likes, because it's still like so brand new, and I haven't really like pimped it out that much yet, because I wanted to get like a kind of like a big inventory of them first.
Right.
But yeah, they're super fun to do. I mean, I started this like gigantic Winnie the Pooh that I started, that I've already like cut his eyes out and his mouth out, and a friend of mine has given me like a 2 or 3 foot tall Pink Panther, which is like bendable and stuff too. So I can't even wait to destroy that. It's gonna be amazing.
Awesome. That is fantastic. I would love to see an E.T., to be honest. I think ripping
E.T.?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool.
What's funny is I have my plush, like, childhood E.T. still. But I'm like, on the fence, like, do I totally make this scary looking, or do I keep a piece of my childhood?
Right, right.
I'm super on the fence.
One outweighs the other, probably.
Yeah.
What do you got?
So how, like you've talked about a little bit, how long does it actually take for you to make one of these bears?
Honestly, like, one bear can even, like, take up to a week to make, sometimes. So it's like, I'll try and, like, work on, sometimes 5, 6, 7, like, even a dozen at a time, so I can start cutting one up and start stitching in what I need to, and the paints and all the other stuff I use, and, like, let that dry, and then jump onto the next one and do what I can, jump onto the next one, because it's so time consuming, which I think is one of the things that like a lot of people don't really realize. Like any artist, I guess, will experience where some people will like accuse you of like, you're charging too much for this, and it's like, time is the most important thing for any artist, I think. Like, time is money, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes they can take up to a week or so, because I also make like the little mini small bears as well, and obviously they take like a lot less time and stuff. That's why they're a lot less money too. Like sometimes if I can get one done in like a few days, that's kind of like a record. But yeah, honestly, it's like it can be up to like a week for just one sometimes.
Wow, that's intense, man.
It's a long time staring at a teddy bear.
It makes for a super. Like my spare room in here, which you can't see behind there, luckily, is like a dump. It's like there's just parts and pieces like everywhere. My cat loves it.
So how often? And I need to ask this because I was super stoked I found this out. How much of an inspiration is Mr. Bruce Wayne? Because your cat kind of rocks with that name. Just saying. So, how much inspiration do you get from that?
Not not so much inspiration. Just he keeps me company. I let him like hang out with the bears and stuff like that too. He approves them or disapproves of them. But yeah, he's actually awesome. I found him in the alley. Like, he was a stray. I found him in the alley about 6 months ago when he was only 4 weeks old. So I figured Bruce Wayne, and he's presumably an orphan too. So I figured the name Bruce Wayne is like pretty fitting.
That's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah, but yeah, he hangs out with the bears. He fell asleep on one time, which was awesome. And my camera phone was dead. So, which totally sucks. But I have a couple good photos of him hanging out with the bears and stuff like that.
Oh, that's great.
If you get like a little stamp that says "Kitty approved."
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So, what's coming up next, man? I know that you're obviously it's time consuming, and you do also assignment work. Do you have any like festivals that's coming up that you're going to be at? Anything that you want to kind of let people know? To kind of get the word out about your things, man.
Nothing scheduled yet. I really, really want to get back to doing like conventions and stuff. Because like I had went to a few years ago, I went to the Rock and Shock, which is just outside of Boston. And it was like that was the first time I brought them to like a horror convention. I mean, I've done like a lot of smaller art shows and stuff like that, but I mean, bringing the bears to a horror convention is like, it was just perfect, and the reaction was like amazing. So I really want to start doing stuff like that. I was supposed to go to the Days of the Dead in Indianapolis last summer, but it didn't work out. Customs issues and stuff like that, and it's crazy how complicated it seems to just if you want to bring even a small amount of things into the States to try and sell it. And, there's all this like forms and crap you have to fill out, which I didn't do in time and stuff, so it didn't work out, so I had to cancel it, which was the biggest bummer ever. I super want to start bringing them to the States more. And even like there's a couple of horror conventions up here as well. That I want to, I don't know, that's a big thing is I want to get out. It's so fun to bring them into the public too, just to see people's reactions in person and get to talk to people in person about them. Like, even if people don't like them or like think they look terrible, I love seeing that reaction firsthand. It's amazing.
One of the things that I was curious about, and you already kind of touched on it, have you had a like weird experience having to go through airports or anything like that with these guys yet? And give me a story, Lee. We want to hear a juicy story if you got one.
Okay, yeah. When I went to that convention, went to the Rock and Shock, it was because I think I told you about how, like, amazingly enough, I became friends with Mark Patton, who played Jesse in Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Right.
And he loves the Bears. He owns a couple of them, which was amazing. Nightmare 2 was the first horror movie I saw as a kid that, like, made me become a horror fan. So the fact that this guy is, like, now a friend and a fan is, like, mind-blowing. Dreams can happen, kids. But he's just, like, the nicest, most generous dude ever. So he invited me to sit at his table with them. Or with him and bring the bears and stuff like that. So I didn't know. I've only been in the States a couple times, so I had no idea like the rules of what you can and can't bring or whatever. So I had maybe 20 bears with me, and I had made T-shirts, and I only had like 15 of them or something, or 20 maybe, like not a lot. When I'm like passing me and my ex at the time, she came with me, and we're driving through, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm going to a horror convention, and I'm doing an art display and stuff, and I make scary bears and all this." And they're like, "Okay, cool. Can you just pull right over there, and we're gonna go through your stuff?" And we were there for like an hour, and they were like, the customs guy comes out, and he's like, "That is probably in the top 3 weirdest things I've ever seen in anybody's like luggage in cars." And I was like, what were the other two?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, this is the top. He's like, this is the top non-sexual item that I found in people's luggage. And then he's like, so, okay, the bears are one thing. The shirts, you can't bring those in. You're going to have to destroy them. And I almost started crying in front of everybody because, I had about 30 t-shirts, sorry. And it cost me, like, a bunch of money to make them, you know? But he's like, I was just, like, begging him and stuff. Like, please, I don't want to drive all the way back home. It took me 4 hours to get here. I wasn't really crying, but on the inside. So he's like, go talk to our warehouse guy or whatever. So I had to, like, drive around this giant lot and go talk to this guy, this, like, shaved head, mean, scary-looking dude. And he's, like, looking in the back of my car, and he's, like, opening them all up and, like, looking at the bears. And, like, all these other customs people are, like, they're loving them. And they're, like, thinking, like, you know, it's hilarious. And I'm, like, sweating my balls off. Like, are you going to let me into your country? Please, I just want to bring this stuff. And they're, like, playing with them. And there's, like, a customs lady, this older lady who's, like, on the other side of the parking lot. And she's like, Jerry, did you see those bears? And they're all like, yeah, I'm looking at them right now. And it's like, they were certainly enjoying them, but I was like totally like, I didn't know what was happening. But they were having a great time. So the guy was totally like, you know, normally, he's like, even the bears I could say no. And he's like, the shirts, you know, there's rules and this and that. And, but then he was just like, I'm going to give you a pass this time. And I, like, oh my God, really? Fantastic. And then he's like, just, you know, next time, call ahead, like, make the proper arrangements. And because, I mean, like, I didn't have, like, hundreds of thousands of dollars in merchandise or anything like that. It was just, like, you know, the trunk of a car, essentially.
Right.
But, I mean, I was, like, so nervous because, like, I'd never been through anything like that. But it was just hilarious that, like, there was, like, 6 customs people all, like, pulling the bears out and playing with them. And they're like, this one moves! And they're all passing it around like it's show and tell. Yeah, that was awesome. Scary, but awesome.
Man,
That's great.
that's
This is great.
to be a fly in that whole entire process would have been wonderful just to watch
that would be
that
great.
happen.
Oh man, it was hilarious. Like in retrospect, it was like super hilarious. But at the time, yeah, I was like pooping my pants.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, I would too. So, well, cool. Do you have anything else, my man?
I don't know, I guess to go back to your prints and your paintings, like, because I know when people, like artists, when they have prints, they're not usually necessarily the size of your paintings. How big are the paintings?
Yeah. The paintings are 20 by 24. So they're pretty like decent, good size paintings. It's all acrylic on canvas paintings that I do because I'm like super impatient. So I mean, I've never ever used oil paints, and I know that they're like they look amazing, and apparently they're very like great to work with. But I'm so impatient that it's like if I mess something up, I want to be able to fix it like in 2 minutes. I don't want to like, I'll fix you in 1 week's time. Like, like I have so many projects on the go all the time that it's like finish a painting onto the next one, finish a painting onto the next one. So yeah, the prints are 10 by 12. They're just printed on like a good like cardstock, like thick cardstock paper, and I hand sign all of them. Yeah, but the paintings are generally like a bigger size. I like to paint on bigger size canvases if I can, but obviously the bigger the canvas, the more money it's going to be. So I do like a lot of the like smaller portraits I do, like the Breaking Bad ones and like the Doctor Who ones, and a lot of musicians I painted are just like on smaller 10 by 12 size canvases because people can just afford them more that way, which I totally get, and they take less time for me.
Very nice. So to wrap all things up, man, tell people where they can go to be able to purchase your things, how to support you, Facebook, Twitter, whatever it is. Let everybody know right now if you could.
Yeah, Facebook is primarily what I'm using right now. I had a website, but like all starving artists, I was broke for a while, and then I have no more website. So you can find the Quiet Room Bears, just facebook.com/Quiet Room Bears. You can buy them. I have an Etsy store and there's a link on the Facebook page to it. It's just Etsy, etsy.com/shop/Quiet Room Bears. I'm sold out right now because somebody cleaned me out. An NFL player cleaned me out of bears and a bunch of paintings just before Christmas, which was a Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
And so I have probably, I don't know, about 8 or 9 new bears on the go, very close to being done, some of them. Anytime new bears pop up or are for sale, I'll always put it on the Facebook page, so it's the main thing. I have a Twitter page, same thing, Quiet Room Bears. For the art, you can find me on Facebook. Also, it's Art by Lee Howard, and there I am. Pretty much Facebook-centric right now.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Well, we appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks for taking out some time on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
No problem. Thank you.
Hey, anytime, man. And I think we'll definitely be, you'll be seeing a check in the mail soon for a Beers and Fears bear real soon, I believe.
Woo!
So, yeah, we definitely need to make one of those happen.
Works for me.
All right, man. Thank you so much. And that's it, buddy. Cheers, bud.
All right. Thanks,
Thank
boys.
you. All right.